Hey, so I know you've heard all about the tariffing that's been happening recently, but if you don't remember, Trump tariffed China, Canada, and Mexico.
We'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons.
And Canada and China came back with more tariffs on America. More of like a counter tariff at him, and they've been going back and forth for a little bit. After that, Trump decided to attack the EU, but instead of just tariffing the EU, he decided to tariff the whole world over 10% on imports coming into America.
But I think you're going to remember today, it's going to be a free nation that we're dealing with. We're going to have a very free and beautiful nation. That's a 10. That's a good one.
After that, China decided to tariff back America with a 34% tariff on earthly goods, which I don't know what that means, but we all know what 34% tariffs mean. And after that, Trump has now decided to run it back with a 50% tariff on China if they don't comply with him, which, if you don't know how this has been working, basically the tariffs have been starting out very low. We started out like 5-10%, then we made our way up to 20-25%, then China came with a 34%, and now we have the 50% from Trump, which, I mean, honestly, the tariff trading war has been going crazy. I'd love to know what you guys think. I mean, why are we tariffing each other at such a high level? I mean, at this point, who's gonna win? Because there's studies saying that American goods are gonna get tariffed over 104% depending on what they're bringing in to China. And I just, who's winning in these tariff wars? I know the stock market's been going down. It's continuing to go down. It's probably down another 13% now ever since Trump has implemented the 10% tariff on the world. And some people are saying that the tariff and the stock market's going down is a good thing because it means that the world is healing. Is the world healing? Is Trump winning? What is going on here? Because I don't honestly know, if I'm gonna be honest, because I'm kind of surprised that usually when people say the stock market's going down, that means that the economy is going down. So if the stock market is going down and people are saying that, you know, it's a good thing because it shows that the tariffs are working, is it actually working, or is that just something people say because they don't understand? I don't know, but I was shocked to find out that Nancy Poliski also agrees. Back in the day when it came to Trump tariffs on China, I mean, in 1996, there's video out now that Poliski talked about tariffing China.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank you for recognition and the yielding of time from our distinguished chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. I thank him for his leadership in bringing this legislation to the floor. I thank Mr. Murphy of Pennsylvania and Mr. Murphy of Ohio, bipartisan Murphys, for their leadership in this important legislation. Mr. Speaker, for so many years, we have watched the China-U.S. trade deficit grow and grow and grow. And today we are finally doing something about it by recognizing that China's manipulation of the currency represents a subsidy for Chinese product exports coming to the United States and elsewhere. Many of us have been working on this issue for decades. 20 years ago, when the issue of China trade was before the floor of the House, the trade deficit was $5 billion a year. The U.S.-China trade deficit was $5 billion a year. We thought that that gave us tremendous leverage for them to stop violating our intellectual property, to give us market access, stop non-tariff barriers to our products going into China, and the rest. We had other issues with China's proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, to Pakistan with their the actions taken at Tiananmen Square, and human rights in China and Tibet. But strictly on the subject of trade, the imbalance was $5 billion, which seemed like an enormous amount of money. We tried through legislation unsuccessfully on the floor under both Democratic and Republican presidents. This was not a partisan thing. And because of the opposition of the administration, we're not able to pass any legislation that said, halt. We understand the U.S.-China relationship is an important one in every way, culturally, politically, diplomatically, culturally, economically, commercially. But we need to have fair, we need to play by the rules. When China came into the WTO, it was projected that they would play by the rules. But here we are today, and remember I said the trade deficit was $5 billion a year 20 years ago when we were having this debate then. It is now $5 billion a week. A week. One way that we can address that is to address the issue of China's manipulation of the currency, which, as I mentioned, is a subsidy for their exports. We believe that passing this legislation here today will give the President leverage in his conversations with the Chinese about how seriously and closely the American people are watching this situation. It is part of our Making in America agenda to stop the erosion of our manufacturing, industrial, and technological base. We have to stop that. It's an economic issue. It's a national security issue that we have the manufacturing capacity to protect the American people in every way. So this is about America's workers. It's about making it in America so that our people can make it in America for their families, for their communities, for our country, for our economy. Especially now when we're talking about all the new green technologies and the rest, which are part of the green, clean energy jobs for the future. And we see what is happening in the trade relationship with China on that score. It is absolutely essential.
Tariffing China because of the unequal goods, and even at a 2% difference of tariffs between China and the United States of America, it was over $30 billion.
How far does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit and loss of jobs for the American worker? And how much more dangerous proliferation has to exist before members of this House of Representatives will say, I will not endorse the status quo? As I mentioned, it's about jobs, proliferation, and human rights. And there are those who say we shouldn't link human rights and trade and proliferation and trade. I disagree. But if we just want to take up this issue on the basis of economics alone, indeed, China should not receive most favored nation status for several reasons that I'd like to go into now. I'd like to call the attention of our colleagues to this chart on the status quo that the business community is asking each and every one of us to endorse today. Right now, we have a $34 billion trade deficit with China, the 1995 figure. It will be over $40 billion for 1996.
Over 30 years ago, which that's crazy to me. And I'm also shocked to find out while doing more research on this that Nancy Poliski has uploaded a video on her own YouTube channel talking more about these tariffs. And yes, they've been going viral recently, and I decided to upload a few clips myself. So if you'd like to check them out, I'll put them at the link below and in the description. But after everything that's been going on, I'm gonna be honest, I feel as if that it's time for war to happen. I'm gonna be honest, with people disagreeing with each other. It eventually is gonna lead into people just wanting to start a fight because of whatever. I mean, I feel like there's already implication of like war happening in the first place with us challenging each other in a trade war. But honestly, what do you guys think? This has been a little bit of a short video because I'm gonna be honest, this is just an update about what's been going on with the tariffs recently. But as someone that is American and as someone that's been medically rejected from joining the military, I don't know what's next for America's, future, or even the economy's future for the world. I mean, is it true that the world going down in stock pricing is a good thing for America? And who's gonna hold out the longest? Will it be America or the world? I mean, for me, once again, I feel that when it comes to Canada, Canada relies on America more than America relies on Canada. And even in some debates I've had online or I've read, people talk about Canada supplying America with a lot more energy than Canada being supplied from America. But honestly, who knows? Once again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions about this crazy times we're living in. Once again, I don't know who's right. Apparently, Elon Musk owns Dogecoin now. I mean, a lot of stuff has been going on recently, and there's more questions being asked than answered. And I'd love to hear what you guys think. My name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz. This is a quick news update on April 7th, 2025, uploaded for April 8th, 2025. Have an awesome day. Take care. Peace.